Hey guys, it's Mike Chen. You know, mankind is really driven by this innate competitive spirit. I mean, we thrive on competition and we have cultivated our competitive streak and even integrated it into our daily lives by creating a healthy and a relatively safe platform for it through sports. And while modern sports have been fine-tuned in such a way that the possibility of getting seriously injured has significantly been reduced as time went on, it cannot be denied that these physical activities still pose some danger to those who engage in them. But trust me, that degree of danger is really nothing compared to the many sports and games from our ancient past that no longer exist today. And as much as many of us enjoy a little risk in exchange for some adrenaline-fueled exhilaration, most of these ancient sports were way too bloody, violent, and just utterly insane by modern standards that they just died out over time, as they require sometimes the loss of life and limb of most of their players, all for the sake of entertainment. And so in this video, we're going to talk about 8 ancient sports that are just too crazy for this modern world. Number 1, we have pit, also known as the Mesoamerican ball game. This sport dates back to 1400 BCE and was played by the pre-Columbian inhabitants of ancient Mesoamerica. The game is said to be similar to that of racquetball, and the player's objective was to keep a solid, heavy ball in play through vertical stone rings. But the sport is brutal, as it inflicted serious injuries on the players that left them perpetually bruised and may have possibly even killed some of them. And here's the worst thing: this sport also for some reason required the human sacrifice of the losing team and the decapitation of its members, particularly the captain. So yeah, just slightly more violent than racquetball. Number 2, Venatio. Translated in English, this Roman sport means the hunt, and it was a popular form of gladiatorial combat and a source of entertainment in Rome around 50 AD. Now this sport entailed a team of slaves facing off against a beast of Carthage, which equates to 20 aggressive elephants charging at them full speed. And the players only really had around 2% chance of surviving the whole ordeal, so needless to say, the game was very violent and resulted in the deaths of countless humans and elephants alike. Number 3, Cretan bull leap. Just from the name of this, you could probably already tell that this coming-of-age sport from the island of Crete in Greece involved, people jumping over speeding bulls. But to the ancient Cretans, successfully leaping over a bull marked a boy's transition into manhood. But sadly, many of these boys never actually got to grow up as adults, as their miscalculated attempts at boat leaping often led to their untimely demise. Some were considered lucky if they survived the experience with serious injuries. So yeah, I think I'd rather be called a child forever than, trying to jump over a bull. I think that is just slightly more crazy than, running with the bulls. I get that running with the bulls is a long-term custom. Number 4, pancration. Now, we credit the ancient Greeks for many things, and one of them is probably the development of what is arguably the first known mixed martial arts sport on the face of the planet. Pancration is a combination of striking and wrestling, and kind of similar to modern-day MMA. However, this ancient Greek combat sport didn't have weight divisions, and there really wasn't any rounds, and here's the thing, there's no time limit. The rule was simple: there are no rules. The fighting would not end until someone surrendered. But the good thing is, although the fighting can be brutal and almost deadly, competitors were not allowed to kill their opponents. Yay! And doing so would result in a loss, because that just meant the other guy had a stronger warrior spirit and would not give up. Or maybe he was unconscious. Number 5, skin pulling. Known as the Vikings version of the game tug of war, it had basically the same rules as the classic sport we play today, although with a few minor details that made it one of the Vikings' favorite pastimes. First of all, the Vikings did not pull a rope, they pulled on animal hides, which were tied together. And secondly, the Vikings made the game even more interesting by holding the tournaments over, get this, open pits of fire. Number 6, chariot racing. I think most of us are kind of familiar with this. If you ever watched the 1959 film classic Ben-Hur, then you would probably recall the iconic chariot race scene from the movie and saw how violent and dangerous this ancient sport could get. Chariot racing was a popular event during the thriving civilizations of the ancient Greeks, Romans, and the Byzantine Empire. Charioteers of the time were paid handsomely and enjoyed considerable fame. However, they also lived really short lives, as chariot racing did not have strict rules to follow, and contestants could do anything they wanted to prevent their opponents from finishing the race. They could ram against possess other chariots to destroy them and even use weapons to slaughter the horses so that the other charioteers will crash. So I guess like an ancient, much bloodier version of Mario Kart, except maybe no turtle shells are involved. Number 7, the fisherman's joust. This is a very popular aquatic combat sport in ancient Egypt. This game was very simple. Two teams on their respective boats would venture into the crocodile-infested waters of the Nile. Then, you know, no big deal. Just try to attempt to knock each other off their boats using paddles or long poles. Of course, needless to say, hitting each other senselessly could get very brutal, but that wasn't the only life-threatening situation. Because if you end up falling into the water, you would be lucky to swim your way back to shore, but the chances of getting eaten alive by crocodiles, hippos, and other beastly creatures were much higher. Finally, number 8, naumachia. This ancient Roman sport in English literally means naval combat, and it's essentially the staging of naval battles in which the objective of the contestants involved is to destroy the opponent's fleet of ships and kill all its crew. But it's okay because the crew is just made out of prisoners. That's so much more okay. The competitions did not take place at open sea, but were held in specially designed man-made basins that in some cases included various sea creatures. The earliest recorded event of naumachia was organized by Julius Caesar in 46 BC in celebration of his military accomplishments. However, the largest recorded event of this violent sport was arranged by Emperor Claudius in 52 AD. This naval battle involved the participation of 100 vessels and around 19,000 men. You know, I think ancient, really bloody, really stupid sports are making a comeback, but now we're just calling it viral video challenges. I mean, who came up with this stupid light yourself on fire thing? I feel like these future Darwin Award winners, if we ever successfully create a time machine in the future and they commit some kind of crazy, heinous crime, then we can just send them back in time and they can just go participate in, I don't know, fisherman's joust. I feel like if I had to participate in any one of these sports, I think maybe chariot racing, because everybody is sort of on equal grounds and you get to have a good life before you die. But let me know if you had to play one of these sports. If you were an ancient athlete, you had to participate in something, which one of these crazy sports would you choose? Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you later.